Hello, I'm Ben Horowitz, founding partner at the venture capital firm Andreessen Horowitz and author of the best-selling book, The Hard Thing About Hard Things. Management debt is what happens when you don't do what you're supposed to. I should fire that person, but that's going to be very, very messy, so I'm going to blow it off. I should fill this executive position, but I'm so busy with other things, so I'm going to let that go. And the problem is that debt causes knock-on effects. So you don't just have the problem of the bad executive or bad manager that you didn't fire. Now that debt creates an employee satisfaction problem among everybody on that team. And then the reputation of that team starts to degrade inside the organization. And so now that team can't be effective with other teams. And then you start to have attrition on that team because nobody wants to work in an organization with a bad manager that nobody else in the organization respects. These things cascade, and pretty soon it's very, very difficult to kind of get out from under it. So it's why I always like to say, you need to run towards the pain and darkness and not away from it. And I think the best leaders always run towards the darkness. They always run towards the problem. They never run away from it. And the ones that fail, always hesitate. They really run into trouble on very, very complicated emotional things where the emotion prevents them from doing the thing that they intellectually know they need to do. So this could be firing a friend or doing a reorganization that causes a very talented employee to lose power and get upset with you, or not give somebody a raise who you really like but isn't the person on the team that deserves a raise. These things are much more difficult and people often avoid them, but as a leader, you're much better off running at your fear than running away from your fear because it's going to chase you down. When you're reading a case study about a business, you know everything because it's over and you're looking backwards through history. And so it's very easy to make those decisions in retrospect. But when you're going forward in time, you have less than complete information, often less than 10% of the data that you would like to have. And then employees or people from the outside, the board, the customers, the public, the press, think that they know the decision. None of them have as much information as you or as much context as you. So it takes courage to do what you don't know is the right decision. You think it's the right decision. And then many people think it's the wrong decision. So they're not going to like you when you make the decision. That's the point at which leaders add value. Because if you just do what people want, you're not actually adding anything. They could run the company without you. Courage is a tricky thing. I think my favorite quote on this is from the great boxing trainer, Cus D'Amato. He trained Floyd Patterson and Mike Tyson. And he said, the difference between a hero and a coward isn't what they feel. They're both scared. It's what they do. You're not going to feel confident in making a decision that you think is 52% right and everybody else thinks is wrong. But that's what you have to do to be good at this job. The thing you have to keep in mind is you want to be liked and respected in the long run, not the short run.